to the Save Your Breath show, where we help parents eliminate the stress and aggravation of parenting, whether your child is 5 or 50. I'm Rowena Starling, the host and producer of the show, and today I thought we'd have a conversation about spring. We're in the middle of spring. Spring has sprung, and I wonder if we care to understand how beautiful that whole process is, how the seasons ease in on us. Do you ever think about the season that your life is in, the season that your child's life is in? This is a good time for us to kind of step up and step back and see if we can get a bigger, broader view of what's going on. We're not inclined, at least I'm not inclined, to want to step up and step back in the wintertime. I'm too cold doing this, trying to make sure that I don't expose myself. But in the winter, we get to plant our seeds, have our deep thoughts, go into the darkness of the well and pull out the gold nuggets, the golden seeds, plant them, and then in spring have the sun shine down and melt through the soil of everything we've planted. We come out, we feel fresh. Our lives are like that. Our children are in their seasons. The thing that I really like about who we are is that our lives don't really depend on seasons. We can have spring in the wintertime. It's just a matter of our frame of mind. The seasons come upon us, but we don't necessarily have to be at the effect of it. We have our kids home for the spring season. We have a week or two with them, and then they go back to school. Are you looking at the freshness of all that? Are you feeling the freshness of it? It's my favorite time of year. Well, maybe summer. Anything that's not cold is my favorite time of year. A little bit of fall, right in there, fall. Actually, here in the Bay Area, the fall is considered the summer. But I wonder if we're looking at the seasons of our lives, if we just step up and out and look down on how we are moving about our lives and what's going on from one season to the next. And then noting where we are in our season, in our lifetime, and where our child is or our offspring are in their seasons, in their lifetimes. I tend to want to look more now toward the adult offspring because my offspring is now an adult, But I have this show because I want us to save our breath. I look back on all those years when I was raising my son. Oh my God, so much wasted breath to a large extent. 20/20 hindsight. I'm wanting to give the rest of you, especially the ones who have children at home still, an advantage of having my 20/20 hindsight and the 20/20 hindsight of my guests and all the fresh new information that's coming in. I feel like there's a spring of information that's coming in, especially when we're talking about conscious parenting. I just had a very powerful guest on, Araya Noruzi, speaking of the conscious parenting. We're in the spring of that here in my environment, here in the United States. I hope that we are in the spring of that, right? It's fresh, it's new. We're breathing a different air about how we handle our offspring. Even as they're adults, even as they're toddlers, even as they're in school. If you can recognize that the season that you're in can look at the season that they're in and guide them in a way that's not so tight, not so stringent, not so punitive to them. Relax and enjoy your season as you move through it, because I notice that as I get closer to the end, you know, this physical body has an end. It does end, but I feel strongly that we don't end who we really are. But we cling to this physical body, the seasons that they're in. I'd like to think that my season, though it appears to be, you know, heading into winter, my mind is in spring. I want us to keep our minds in spring. Maybe summer, then come back to spring. But when we're looking at our offspring and considering the season that they're in, we can relax a little bit, as long as we're especially here to help guide them gently through their various seasons. And reminding them that this season, whatever it is that they're going through in this particular season, say if they're a teenager, my goodness, what would you say the human seasons are? There's what, infancy, childhood, teenhood, young adulthood, adulthood, senior, and then the inevitable back into the earth, to be born again into another run of seasons. That's my take on it. So, looking at the season that I'm in, when I look at the season that my son is in, I can do nothing but sit back and enjoy what's happening to him. This is funny to me to a large extent, especially when he's having his issues, right? I can sit back in my season and observe that season. And as when he was a young little splib running around, squirrely individual, in that season, I can still observe these seasons. And the idea is to sort of move in to help protect and guide. You know, I was heavy-handed with that, you know, not understanding where I was at all with all of that. So I want to do an ode to spring for us to step up, step out and breathe and enjoy the coming fresh air and the blossoms in these seasons of our lives. Take a bird's eye view of the season that you're in, that the season that your offspring is in, that the season that your spouse is in, and sort of relish and enjoy that as you're moving through it, because you are moving through it. We just don't have to be at the effect of it. Mentally, we can be in spring at all times. We appreciate the winter because then we can go in and sort of plant the seeds of what it is we want to have happening, the deep ideas, and then put some of that into fresh soil in the spring, have the sun shine down on it. Some things, you know, we have things that harvest and bloom all year long, you know, going down, going up, going down. This is how our lives are. So I just wanted to remind us of that, invite you to step back. And when I was out today, I was just remembering that even the people that I see homeless and on the street, you know, you see some that are in pretty bad shape. They're in their season. They were somebody's, and they are probably still somebody's baby. Just think of that for a second. That season. What happened in that lifetime that yielded them to be in this particular expression, this environment in their season? What was going on with their environment when they were um, small little seeds, seedlings growing up through time, what was going on in their environment? How much of that is environment? How much of that is genetics? How much of that is chemical, that places them where they are now? When we're taking our bird's eye view, I think it's a good idea to sort of spread our awareness across that when we're looking at our offspring and looking at our lives, to see that we're planting the best seeds, the kernel of the very best seeds for ourselves now and for them, and having them plant their own good seeds now and have them understand how what they're planting now can have the sun shine on it as they go through time. And their energy and their attitude is everything that nurtures what they want to have in the future.